Well, I'm going to call this meeting of the Othello City Council to order this time. If you please rise with me for a silent invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank everybody that is here tonight. We have a few very important items on the agenda tonight, and we're going to have a little bit of public input. So now is the time to hear from our community. We welcome your comments, which are very important to us. Please go to the podium when you're recognized and give your name for the record. Address your comments to the council as a whole, not individuals. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. You may not donate your time to another speaker. We will not enter into dialogue at this time. The purpose of this agenda item is for you, the public, to inform the council about your views. So at this time, I will take public input. Mr. Mendez.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jake Mendez Jr. I'm a civil rights activist, an ACLU Washington member, and an NAACP member as well. I appreciate the discussion we had prior to the regular city council meeting. It seems like it's pretty vague on the downside if it doesn't pass. And I already made a video talking to the city administrator regarding the harsh reality if it doesn't go through. What's the alternative with this if this levy doesn't pass? And it seems like one of them is pretty vague on the outcome of, okay, we have to go under the budget, whatever. But they weren't elaborating enough more further in detail of how much longer the community is going to have to wait for this poll. And I made it pretty clear with the city administrator, and this is just my opinion, if it doesn't pass, then what? Do we just leave the pool there just for amusement, just for looks, while it's being not maintained or kept up or have leaves there all year round? I mean, what are the alternatives? Do we find a more smaller route of a less expensive pool to another alternative of a wedding facility of a lower budget or whatever? And you could find that video with me and the city administrator on AJ Mendez Media Productions. I did 2 videos on that a few months ago. It's got over 2,000 some views. The community is aware of that. This is not something, a newsflash that people are just finding out just right now. They've been knowing about it. If any alternatives, if it doesn't pass. What is the reality if it doesn't pass? Do we take that pool out? Do we put more gazebos and plant more trees, playground equipment? Is that going to be on the ballot if it doesn't pass? You guys need to be more transparent. You guys are just pretty vague of being so hopeful and high that this is going to pass when we don't know the reality if it is or not. And if it's not, then what? Where do we go from here? That's just something I just want to address as far as that goes, because that's something I think the community deserves on that ballot if it doesn't pass. We need something to fall on if this doesn't pass. I hope it does, which, you know, it's solely up to the community to vote. I'm not here to dictate what people should or shouldn't do with their vote, but I personally will vote for it on both the fire levy and the swimming pool. But the reality is that we got to come down to it where it's been 3 years now. Coming this November, it'll be the 4th year already without that pool being active. So how many more years is this community gonna wait if this doesn't pass? Okay, you guys are gonna go into your city budget, our budget, then what? How much longer does this community gonna have to wait till this drags on its feet to the point where the community's tired of it? Here, you ain't gonna have enough constituents or voters for it if this doesn't pass. So I'd rather have the city council be more transparent about that if it doesn't pass. At least be honest with that if it doesn't pass. Because if there's no information of it's not gonna pass, then what? That's it? You guys are gonna shrug your shoulders and, oh, well, there's nothing we can do. You guys need to be more honest, transparent with the community. Address something if it doesn't go through, because that's the reality. You can be hopeful, we can be wishful, we could be, crossing your fingers, praying for those that do, pray, whatever, for those that don't. But reality is we got to come down to the bottom line if it doesn't pass this. We need to understand that of something that I think the community deserves. In the next city council meeting, or maybe this one, or maybe elaborate even more if it doesn't pass when going through that budget, how much longer we're gonna wait. And the last thing I want to address is the dogs here in the community. They're running everywhere. It's pretty bad, and there's some instances where it's been ongoing. So I just want to address that, and that's pretty much it. And if you guys want to elaborate even more, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other? I know we got some more for public comment. Go ahead.
This is my first council meeting, and I was left with a lot of questions that I'm going to address right now. I'm going to ask, and I don't know if you want to answer them or answer how this works. So, for example, how many fires has the city had in a period of 3 years? How does annexation?
Can we get your name? Sorry. Okay, thank you.
How does the annexation benefit the city? What are the funds of the annexation? Can we prioritize on pool rather than annexation? Why did we have money when the pool was working rather than moving forward? What changed money-wise in order to keep pool going? Did pool have any type of insurance? What is the amount of money pool has had for repairs? Did the city keep getting funds for pool repairs even though pool was closed? Can we get more bids on pool repairs? No, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay.
I won't let people see it since we have so many.
So we do have a policy that we don't answer questions tonight, but if you would like to leave your name, we got your name and address or contact, we can try to answer some of those questions for you. Is there anybody else? Mr. Wyman's coming up.
I live at 848 Juniper Street. Too often we gripe about our police and our people that protect us every day. Yesterday, we had a group of young gentlemen who decided to paint the neighbor's garage, only they was using spray cans. The police was called, and in 3 minutes, they identified the people, and today they're in jail. And I want to thank the police department for that.
Peterson, and I just wanted to give my 2 cents on cautioning the city council on overpromising on the timeline for repairing a pool and opening it. Somebody cited a comment from NAC that the minimum you could expect the pool to be open was 2029. I don't think that's realistic. I think you're already looking at 2020 or 2030. This year's gone. You can't do anything next year. If you pass a bond, then you enter into your process of selling the bonds, doing the engineering, getting your approval process, which I understand has caused delays on the splash pad project that we were told would open last summer that isn't open this summer. Then you've got to find a general contractor, and then you got to go through your construction process. And then if you don't run into any unforeseen problems when they start digging up all those old pipes that we know weren't installed correctly, then maybe you get your pool open in the middle of summer 2030. So there's been a little bit of a history of the city overpromising on timelines with construction progress like that, projects like that. And I think when that happens, even if the pool does eventually open, if it doesn't open when you say it's going to open, it's not going to buy you very much political capital. And you're already looking at a very long timeline. The pool closed in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. And 3 years later, now we're talking about passing a bond again. And I believe the city of Othello and its voters will vote to fund the project. I believe information sharing is important. As Alma said before, it almost passed last time with very little information sharing. I think if you get a good group of citizens behind you who can help with that, you got a great chance. But I also want to suggest that you be prepared to run that bond twice next year and not just once, because it may not pass the first time.
Hi. Sorry, I'm nervous. I'll probably cry because I'm emotional about this issue as well. My name is Charity Miller, and I was born in Othello. My parents, my dad was also born in Othello, my grandparents and my great-grandparents. I have a long history in Othello. And one thing that I was here when the pool, it was voted to have a pool. And at that point in time, I didn't have any children, and I didn't own any land. But my dad is a landowner in Adams County. And I almost voted it down because I saw what the increase was going to do. But asking his advice, I said, Dad, what should I do? He said, never vote no when children are involved. And so I took that advice to heart. And now here I am, many years later, with 4 children of my own who are on the swim team and have learned to swim. I myself never learned to swim. I never took swimming lessons, and I've always been a little terrified of water. I want to propose that the pool is not just a recreational item on a budget. I believe that the pool is public safety just as much as an annexation for a fire. Okay, as I did a little bit of research in the last little bit, did you know, I'm assuming most of you have taken swim lessons or know how to swim. I can't ask you questions. I just found that out. So I'm not going to. But 72% of adult Hispanics have never taken swim lessons. Do you know what the number 1 cause of death is between children age 1 and 4?
Drowning.
Drowning. Do you know what it is between 5 and 14? Not drowning. It's a second. Okay, first is car accidents. Okay, pretty high. So do you also know that in a 6-year time period, that's half of a child's lifetime? Okay, so what you're looking at is when every time you delay it. So if we don't do it in February, we wait until April or we wait until November, you are delaying the opening of a pool, pushing it out more and more years. Okay, so what that does is that the group of kids, so the best time to take swim lessons is probably 5, 6, or 7. You get a kid that is 8, 9, and 10, 11, they're not going to be taking swim lessons because public embarrassment goes a long ways, and traditions. So you kind of are missing a huge population of kids. Guess what happens to those kids? In 5 years, they become parents, right? 5, 8 years, those kids who did not have swim lessons now become parents. I don't want to remind all of us what happened a few years ago with the family, the dad and the young boys who went out. They didn't have life jackets. They didn't have swimming instruction, and 3 of them passed away. Okay, so $100,000, if you look on GoFundMe's, $100,000 of what the city is losing each year for to have a pool, that's nothing. You lose a child to a GoFundMe, you lose a child in the community, a GoFundMe reaches over $100,000 almost instantly. Okay, so let's figure out a way to get this pool sooner rather than later. Let's not shoot for the moon. oops, I'm not supposed to address people. Let's not shoot for the moon. The pool we had was amazing. Let's get a pool and get it as soon as we can. I also believe that I think that the public, because of the fires in Spokane, especially, I think if we bump that date up to February from April, you're looking at, the public is not going to say no when it has to do with fire. We're very aware of what happens when fire is nearby. We've seen it destroy homes and neighborhoods in Spokane recently. So I think let's move the timetable up, get them both on the ballot, get it out there. And just one more thing I wanted to address is I appreciated meeting with you the other day and you talking about combining the city and the country. I'm country, so I don't get a vote on it this time. But I do feel that if you raise the pool price to say $1.50 more for the country folk versus the city folk, I think in one bulletin board, you're saying, oh, we're still divided. And so that's going to be mere pocket change of what you're going to be getting, but it can do a lot more good if you don't. I'm willing to pay the extra. I'm not being asked to vote to pay the extra. And so it's not fair to punish the kindergarten student who doesn't bring their homework back because it's not their problem. It's the parents' problem. Well, we can't vote on it. We can't do anything about it. So don't punish us because we can't vote on it. So anyways, get it on there sooner. Let's shoot for February and get it both on there. Let's pass it. These kids deserve a pool.
Okay, anybody else in here for public comment? Can we find out if there's anybody out there for public comment? Okay, so hearing no more public comment, I would want to thank you, everybody that did speak tonight. We will go on to roll call. Again, Councilmember Spore will not be here tonight, so I'm asking for a motion to excuse.
I'll make the
him from
motion
council
to
meeting.
excuse Councilman Spore.
Second.
Got a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. Now we'll go on to approval of the agenda.
A motion to approve our agenda. Second.
Got a first and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carries. We'll go on to the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
First and second.
Just question, did we have an item pulled off of the consent agenda already and moved?
Yes, we have.
Who did that?
Council.
Perfect. Just,
Yep.
so it's clean.
I get another thing, right?
Kelly, you are 2 for 2
I
tonight.
am.
August is a new month.
Twice. Ow.
Okay. We
Now I
got
want to second that.
we got a first and second on the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carries. Now we will go on to current business. The first thing on the agenda is the approval of the pre-annexation agreement between Adams County Fire District 5 and the city of Othello.
Yes, this agreement is between the city of Othello and Adams County District 5. This is the pre-annexation agreement. So like we've been discussing pretty much throughout the night is annexation with the fire district. So this agreement outlines what the process is like now up until annexation. It talks about the process, addresses the provisions of services following annexation, and outlines responsibilities related to the property and other associated matters. We have been negotiating with the fire district for a few months now, trying to come up with an agreement that both sides can agree upon. And this is where we have landed. This agreement has gone to the fire committee, and it's also been screened through our legal attorney. She is here tonight to answer questions for the council if they have some, and that is what this item is about.
Do we have any questions for our legal counsel? Councilmember Staff?
So, statement, comment. So we mentioned about moving items up to February. Will that include, because the language here is for April, would we have to redraft this document? Want to move it to a different election, or does it?
This contract, yes, specifically says fire annexation will be April of 2027. It doesn't mention anything about a pool levy or anything like that, so that is still open. But yes, you're correct.
If we
Councilman Barnes.
items, I mean, we'd have to get legal language changed or agreed to by all the
I
parties.
think this could stay April, and if we want to do the pool in February, we do the pool in February. I don't know. I mean, I know the consultant has the whole timeline and has had for quite a few months aiming for April. And our current contract with fire goes through the end of April. And if you look at that documentation from the consultant was not too keen on having two separate issues on the same ballot. So I don't think we need to move this, in my opinion.
Councilmember Doro?
We do have legal counsel.
Yes, legal counsel.
I mean,
is
that
on.
sounds like a better question for legal counsel to answer on this issue.
Hi there, I'm here. I'm sorry, I can't turn on my video. I got promoted to panelist, but it's still not letting me do that. If I'm understanding the question correctly, because I had to like jump out of and come back in. Oh, thank you.
Joanna, go ahead and try it now.
There we go. Okay.
Ta-da.
Hi. The question is whether or not, if it does come to the point where the city wanted to maybe move the election up for the consideration of the annexation, so long as the district would be comfortable with that, that could be a very quick amendment that could be done, even if it is approved in its current form as it stands now. If the city later decides we would actually like to move it up to a February election rather than April, and the district is comfortable with that, then that could be just a really fast amendment that could be done. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that we couldn't proceed today, if that makes sense, with the way that the language is at.
Okay. That would also cause us, I know we do have to eventually pass a resolution for annexation. And I believe that was planned in, some latter part of September or October.
Yeah, so if that was a change that happened as far as the election timing, we would just need to add in, additional dates, following the same kind of time progression that you would have for the April date, but just bump it up, to 2 months to the February date. So essentially everything would kind of like travel on a 2-month earlier process if that were to occur. But those things are pretty technical and pretty easy changes to do. And I don't imagine that the district would necessarily, I can't speak for them, of course. But I wouldn't imagine that they would have an issue with potentially holding elections at an earlier date, though I'm not sure. Well, I guess, yeah, we'd have to check with them, but I don't imagine they would have too much heartburn with that, since there are several different options already contained within the agreement. So.
Yeah. Is there any further comments on this?
Additional comment. I wanted to thank the fire committee in particular. I had a host of questions that members of the fire committee did an excellent job of answering, and I also had questions answered by the city administrator. So I just want to continue to encourage our city councilors, when they have a question, reach out to your fellow councilors for that information, because we would have added about 35 to 40 minutes of questions that I had prepared that Daryl and Angel managed to head off at the pass.
Okay, any further comments? Okay, so at this time, since Councilmember Spohr could not be here tonight, He did email in us his comments, and at this time, I will read Councilmember Spore's comment that he had, that he would like to enter in for the record. A statement from Councilmember Mark Spore regarding annexation with Fire District 5. As per current proposed annexation agreement, we are deeding what I estimate is $2 million in assets, buildings, real estate, and apparatus to Fire District 5 in exchange. The district has given us a $68,000 one-time discount based on a reduced monthly rate for 8 months. I am not convinced this is a fair and equitable amount. It should be further negotiated. At this annexation is a decision that could affect the city for the next 20 to 30 years. I suggest we table this until our next meeting to further negotiate with District 5, or at least review this for a couple weeks. Regards, Mark Spore, Council Member, Position 2. Okay, with that, is there any further discussion? Then I would entertain a motion for approval of the pre-annexation agreement between Adams County Fire District 5 and the City of Othello.
Motion to approve.
We got a first and the second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carries. Thank you. Next thing on the agenda item is 20-year recognition for Abe Gomez.
Thank you, everybody, for being here, family and friends of Abe Gomez. He's our lead dispatcher. I'm going to read some words to us and then give the mic over to Abe. So tonight, we are proud to recognize an employee whose dedication, leadership, and commitment to the city of Othello and its public safety operations have spanned 20 years of service. He joined this city in July of 2006 as a dispatcher and has spent the past 2 decades serving our community in a role that requires professionalism, accuracy, compassion, and the ability to remain calm under pressure. His commitment to excellence was recognized early in his career when he was named Dispatcher of the Year in 2007, again in 2017, and in 2018 he took on the role of lead dispatch, a position he holds to this day. He has also served as the Teamster shop steward since 2010, demonstrating his continued commitment to supporting and advocating for his coworkers. Over the years, he has completed extensive specialized training, including Telecommunicator 1 and 2, Communications Training Officer, Access, Emergency Medical Dispatch, Active Shooter Incident Management and Trainer, Terminal Agency Coordinator, and NCIC, National Institute of Criminal Background Check System Training. His responsibilities extend far beyond answering calls and dispatching emergency services. He plays a critical role in maintaining the day-to-day operations and integrity of our dispatch system. His duties include managing dispatch schedules, timesheets, training new employees, overseeing and training volunteers, maintaining critical records, conducting access and Office of Juvenile Justice audits, managing certificates for city employees and vendors, and processing concealed pistol licenses and background checks. He also serves as a liaison between the Washington State Patrol and the Othello Police Department. He chairs the Safety Committee and serves the Joint Dispatch Agency Chair. He is responsible for maintaining access certifications for the Othello Police Department and CJIS certifications for city employees and vendors responsible that require tremendous attention to detail and a strong understanding of the importance in protecting sensitive information. For 20 years, he has been one of the steady voices on the other end of the phone and radio, helping coordinate emergency responses, supporting officers and other agencies, training the next generation of dispatchers, and helping ensure that our public safety operations continue to run smoothly. His longevity, institutional knowledge, leadership, and willingness to take on whatever is needed have made him an invaluable member of the City of Othello's team. Tonight, we recognize and thank him for 20 years of dedicated service to our community. Congratulations, and thank you for everything you have done to continue for the City of Othello.
First of all, I'd like to thank God, because without him, I'm nothing. And thank the city, the administration, for the opportunity they've given me to serve these 20 years and give back to my community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the 2026 Othello, I believe that's 10U Little League All-Star Recognition. Have we got all of our Little Leaguers in here? Let's see if we can get some room for them.
Would be helpful if no, we're not going to talk about the pool anymore. I don't know if we're going to talk about the pool anymore, but some of them may want to go.
Okay, this is a proclamation, City of Othello Little League All-Star Day. Yes, Valerie.
Maybe. Power button on the bottom wasn't on. Okay, so tonight we are recognizing an extraordinary group of young athletes who represented the City of Othello with pride, determination, and sportsmanship. Before we do that, we wanted to play a short video of their journey to states.
From the bottom, now we with the Holy Ghost. Only way to get up high is if you get down low. Ay. Had to make it to the top just to see how hard it dropped. Yeah, whoa, yeah. Had to make it to the top just to see how hard it dropped. Yeah, whoa. Had to make it to the top just to see how hard it dropped. Yeah, whoa. Had to make it to the top just to see how hard it dropped. I never stopped, God brought me to the top. Guess I gotta wait around to see how hard it drop, just kill the beat. It's a whole song about humility. See how hard it drop. Yeah, whoa, yeah. Had to make it to the top just to see how hard it drop. Yeah, whoa. Had to make it to the top just to see how hard it drop. Yeah, whoa. Had to make it to the top just to see how hard it drop. I never stopped, God brought me to the top. Guess I gotta wait around to see how hard it drop.
Wrong tournament. Disappeared.
Okay, yeah. Hey, how you start is how you finish. Like 9 to 5, we stand on business. Just to catch up, you gon' need a village. Okay, we got no limits, huh? We got no limits, huh? Yeah, I put on my J's, you already know the dealer. But this ain't a game, this is life, this is a killer. He'll try to trap your soul, I ain't talking Bryson Tiller.
Parents who put that together. Their journey. As the Parks and Recreation Coordinator and the President of the Othello Little League, I've had the opportunity and privilege of watching these boys grow throughout the season, and most of them since they were 8 years old as Little Leaguers. Their journey to becoming District 5 champions and 2026 Washington State 10U runner-up was built on hard work, teamwork, and resilience. After battling through the consolation bracket, they earned their opportunity to compete in a true state championship game. It is a great accomplishment that Othello and your families should be proud of. I'd also like to recognize head coach Rudy Ochoa and his assistants, Jose Limus and Abner Garza, for their outstanding leadership, as well as their parents, families, volunteers, sponsors, and our community for the unwavering support that made this journey possible. This team reminded us that success is measured not only by championships, but by the character, perseverance, and pride with which they represent their hometown. It is now my honor to recognize each player and coach with the City of Othello Certificate of Recognition and have our Parks and Recreation Committee member help us pin these young athletes. Following the presentation, we will have some words from Coach Ochoa, and then Mayor Ken Johnson will read a proclamation recognizing this remarkable team and declaring City of Othello Little League All-Star Day. So boys, when we call your name, you'll come up, you'll get your certificate. Have the pins on the side. Yeah, because they'll come in on points. This one. First, we'll have Ezekiel Garza, number 2. Next, we have Luke Garza, number 11. You hold these and then he'll pin you, okay? Zacarias Garza, number 22. There we go. There you are, buddy. Jasper Hafer, number 7. Jasper, I'm going to shake your hand, okay? Good job, buddy. Next, we have Aaron Lemus, number 24. Javen Madera, number 15. Ochoa. Perez, number 10. Des, number 5. Derek Valdez, number 27. Do have two who could not make it tonight. It was Jace Valdez, number 17. Number 3. Now, if we can hear some words from Coach Rudy Ochoa.
All right, I'll be quick. Congratulations to these guys. They worked really hard. They come with a lot of experience. I've said it to many people. They make coaching easy and they make it fun. They show up every day. They work hard. They do the right things. They represented the city well. They showed class and good character in all their competition on the field and off the field. So it was just a pleasure coaching them. As far as thank you to Valerie, our city Little League president, to Brennan, our district president, District 5 president, and also to the city of Othello. These kids felt a lot of support. We all felt a lot of support. So thank you to the city of Othello, to the sponsors, everybody that helped financially. Words of wisdom for the kids, just the many ways that the community showed their support. We thank you to the city of Othello. Thank you to their parents. They've all been really good role models and a pleasure to work with. Thank you to their family and their fans and everybody that supported them. And personally, I'd like to really say thank you to Coach Abner Garza and Coach Lemus. They're like top tier assistant coaches, and they made it really easy to coach. They're fun to coach with. But overall, it was a good season. It was fun. These boys represented the city of Othello really well with pride, and you guys should be proud of them.
You want to give them some?
Yeah.
Put you guys in there. Those are the coaches.
Well, Lemus is in
Lemus
there.
here.
Abner.
On these certificates, this does say, it's presented in grateful appreciation of your selfless volunteer service, inspiring leadership and unwavering dedication to your players and their families. Your commitment helped build a team that earned the opportunity to compete in the Little League 10U state finals. Thank you for the time, heart, and positive example you shared. Your impact will be remembered long after the final game. Front row, you guys want to take a knee? Take a knee in the front row. There you go. There you are. Face the mayor as he reads the proclamation. Very special day.
Okay, whereas 2026 Othello 10U Little League All-Star Team represented the city of Othello with exceptional sportsmanship, teamwork, perseverance, and pride throughout the District 5 and the Washington State tournaments. And whereas through the dedication of its players, coaches, families, volunteers, and community supporters, the team earned the title of 2026 District 5 champions and advanced to the Washington State Championship game, finishing as the 2026 Washington State 10U runner-up. And whereas head coach Rudy Ochoa II and assistant coaches Jose Loomis and Abner Garza provided outstanding leadership, helping these young athletes develop character, resilience, and the commitment to excellence both on and off the field. And whereas this remarkable team united our community, honored the pride tradition of Othello Little League, and inspired future generations through their determination and sportsmanship. Now, therefore, I, Ken Johnson, Mayor of the City of Othello, together with the Othello City Council, do hereby proclaim August 10th, 2026 as City of Othello Little League All-Star Day. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Mayor, signed a proclamation for each one of you. So you have an official document. There you go. And on the back of your photo cards, you guys have a journal that you guys can fill out, okay? And that's in memory of your season that I put back there for you. So coaching for many, many years, this is what I do for my teams. And I say, hey, we are gonna put that in a memory bank and we're gonna have that forever. I'm a scrapbooker.
Great achievement.
Hey, Abner. When they compete for 12 of you, you might have to be in the front row.
You just couldn't help yourself, could you? That's what I said.
Yeah, let's do that.
Sounds like somebody's gonna get extra IT trainings.
I wouldn't say anything until you started jumping.
Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of the facility use agreement with Columbia Basin Health Association and the Color Run. Valerie.
On August 22nd, CBHA will host its annual Color Run in support of childhood wellness in our communities. Event setup will take place from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. with the run beginning at 10 a.m. and ending at noon. Cleanup at each color station will begin after all participants have passed. Color stations will be located on school district, private business, and city-owned properties that include Kiwanis Park, Pioneer Park, and City Hall. Participants will receive bursts of color powder at each station before finishing at the CBHA clinic on Columbia Street. As in previous years, Parks and Recreation staff have coordinated with the organizers, Public Works Director, and Police Chief to ensure participant safety and protect public property using the same route that has been successfully used in the past events. The returning profit organization special event fee is $247.25 with a damage deposit of $541.25. Staff does recommend that the City Council approve the facility use agreement of property use for CBHA Color Run for a cause on Saturday, August 22nd.
I'll make the motion to approve the facility use agreement between the City of Othello and CBHA authorizing the use of city property for the Columbia Basin Health Association 5K Color Run.
Second.
We got a first and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. Okay, the next agenda item, approval of U.S. Department of Transportation Safe Streets and Roads for all contract authorization. This was on our consent agenda earlier, and it was pulled off for further discussion, and also let the public know that we do take safe streets serious. Is there any questions on this grant and what it exactly covers? Contract?
I don't have any questions on it. I just wanted it kind of brought a little bit more forward instead of consent agenda, which is why when I was reviewing board materials, I asked for it to be pulled from consent agenda. I think it's really important that the public understand that we do have grant funding and we are actively looking at to get reports and ways that we can make the city safer. In particular, when I was reading through this actual contract with USDOT, it's not just traffic safety, but it's also looking at pedestrian safety, which I know is things that have been brought to the council repeatedly over the last few months with incidences that we've had. And I particularly will be looking at information that we get that gives us the right direction to go to implement the right things for traffic and pedestrian safety. I know there's been suggestions that have been made during public comment, but what I want to see is data and actual things out there that are going to give us the roadmap to actually making things safe, not just an idea or a shot in the dark. I want data. And so I wanted this to be part of the regular agenda so that the public also can see this is something that we're doing and we're taking it seriously, and there will be more information to come.
Sarah, do you have anything to add to this?
No, we went after this. We do have a local road safety plan, and that does cover, we have an active transportation, plan as well. And that does cover pedestrian safety. But a big reason we went after this federal grant, so there's a difference. There's state grants, there's federal grants. So our reasoning for this one is it just opens more opportunities. WashDOT had, one big thing is that roundabout on 26 and 14. That is off of WashDOT's project. It used to be, it's no longer. This would open up ways, could we get state funding along with federal funding? Now, our local road safety plan is missing 4 items. This goes a little more in depth into safety. The other thing this allows is looking at future growth of Othello. Where are we going to need roads? Where are we going to need pedestrian safety accesses? Where are we going to need all that? So this bypasses having to go through WashDOT. This moves up to a federal level and gives us hopefully a bigger pool to go from. Our region tends to be a little bit smaller with what the projects we need. So it's really hard going with the local grants in the state, and you have a budget of 7 million for a whole region, and we're asking for 5 to do something. It's pretty unlikely that we're going to do that, but paired with federal and state, we have a pretty good chance of doing that. So that was part of our reasoning for going after a federal grant as well, just opening up more pathways to get funding to do the projects we need to keep everyone safe. So.
And I would be happy to motion to authorize City Administrator Aaron Garza to sign the USDOT SS4A contract for Safe Streets Othello Action Plan for Equitable and Connected Growth.
Second.
We got a first and second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. 2026 fiscal year budget project reallocation. Spencer.
Yeah, so tonight we have a minor budget reallocation for your consideration. As we've gone through the year, as we all know, a budget is a plan, and things can change as we go progress through the year. This year, we've had some questions brought by members of the council and some members of the community on 2 projects specifically that I want to bring up tonight. The first one is lighting at the pickleball court, and the second one is the work around the flagpole up front of City Hall. And the desire is to see both of those items addressed. And we've reallocated some dollars from some other projects that can either wait or aren't as high priority. And your motion tonight will allow us to move forward with both of those projects in lieu of these other projects. I can just review those really quick. So the pickleball court lighting, we're going to take that money from some dollars that we've been putting aside for a new Spillman system. I've been talking with Aaron, our previous police chief and current city administrator, and it looks like we may not need that money. We may not need that money at all, or if we do, we might not need it as soon. Anyway, we feel pretty confident that we can take $22,000 from that project and put it towards pickleball lighting. And the other item, the flagpole at the City Hall, we have $35,000 that were reserved for redoing the back parking lot, the PD parking lot back here. And it's a lower priority. And we don't need to do that now. This is a bigger deal. With that, I can field any other questions that you have, or we can move forward with the motion. There's no ordinance needed at this time because we're not actually changing the dollars. We're just taking dollars from one project to fund another project.
To move, oh, did you have a question?
Question. So by allocating this $57,000, will these projects be completed by year's end?
We currently have people coming in to make quotes on the flagpole, so that one will be done within a couple months. The pickleball, we have to go back out for quotes, but yes, both of those should be done this fall.
Okay. I would like a follow-up on the progress of these two items, and the flagpole has been an issue for a number of years. I would like follow-up, Mr. Mayor, end of October, where we stand on these two projects. Okay.
Actually, I have a follow-up to that as well. We don't have actual quotes for either one of these projects currently, is that correct?
No, we went out and got budget numbers
Okay.
from a couple contractors, so we got budget information, but now that we're actually coming down, we need actual quotes. So a couple of the budget things, like with the flagpole, we asked for budgetary numbers. So they're looking at if they run into any issues, if they, anything foreseeable, that's what we wanted our budget numbers to look like. Now, when we're getting competitive quotes, they're going to tighten that up a lot and say, okay, this is what they think is competitive so that they can be the lowest bidder.
So these numbers are at the highest end for both projects?
Correct.
Okay.
So we've received a couple budgeted actual quotes for the concrete, and they're lower than that 35,000.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? So I will entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve these changes to the current 2026 budget.
Second.
We got a first and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carries. Okay, we will go on to unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business at this time? Okay. New business.
I got a question.
Yes.
Do we have policy on testimony submitted before the agenda from a counselor? And the reason I asked that, Councilman Spohr submitted something for us. I don't know when it came in, but I don't know if we can include that in the agenda or not, since they're not here to support it. I got to admit, I really didn't have enough time to digest his comments. Where if he'd been here, he would have probably defended it and said a whole lot more to that end. I don't know if we have policy already in place for when that needs to be submitted, or if. That's my first question. And if we don't, maybe if those things could be potentially added to the agenda.
So on this particular item, Councilmember Spohr was in to talk to Aaron. I think it was Friday of last week. And he wanted Aaron to convey his thoughts on that. And it did not feel right that Aaron convey those thoughts of a council members. So we just asked him to go ahead and email his response, and we would read it at the meeting.
I think that's reasonable, but I think also it would have been nice to digest this a little bit farther and have an opportunity before the meeting to ask Councilman Spohr to just kind of get some more explanation on what his thinking was on that. I know for myself, I don't feel like I had enough time to digest from how this was presented.
Okay.
That's just a comment I didn't know where it belonged to unfinished or new business.
Okay. All right.
And I also agree with, yes, it should not be presented by staff as
Yes.
such either. That's why I think having it submitted, if it's done at a particular time, to be added to the agenda for consideration, it would be helpful.
It is difficult to have a input from council member who is not here, so we can't ask follow-up
Right.
questions and try and get further information. Where when we're all here, we have a lot of back and forth discussion, and you can really kind of get to the bottom of the issue, and it's difficult with him not here.
Yes, he just wanted to make sure his comment was heard. Okay, any other new business? Okay, seeing no further business, council will also receive the accounts payable reports as you see now, as was asked, and the police report for July. Seeing no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
Times tonight that you guys agree with each other, if we get rain,